Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outliers YouTube channel and our program, Get to Know. I'm your host, DP Lyle, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Kathleen Antrim.
Thanks, Doug. It's great to be here. I'm really excited about this interview. We have got an amazing writer with us. She does a lot of things. We're not sure when she sleeps. She's got over 65 books written, over 3 million books in print. She's also an agent. I mean, she just kind of does it all from both sides. Lynette Eason, welcome to Get to Know. We're so glad to have you on the show. I know you're an award-winning author. You are a best-selling author, USA Today, Publishers Weekly, on and on. We're just so delighted to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So, as Doug knows, and a lot of our viewers knows, one of the things I really like to ask authors is about their childhood. So we're going to lay you down on the couch here and do some analysis. Um, I would like to know if you feel your childhood contributed to you becoming an author. Were you an introverted child? Were you an outgoing child? Were you an athlete? Tell us about it. Share.
I think for sure it did. I grew up in a very, I, just your typical middle class Jew cleaver. I don't know, I just dated myself, I guess. But, mom and dad, and we did sports. I played soccer, volleyball, basketball, softball, you name it, I played it. And, yeah. And so I can always remember my mom having a book in her hand. Like if she wasn't cooking at the stove or taking one of us to our after school activities, she had a book in her hand, sitting in the living room chair, and that had a big influence. So I grew up loving to read, and I loved Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys and all of those mystery. I loved when the good guys won, and so okay, I'm gonna date myself again. Magnum PI, Simon and Simon. And all of the crime shows. And so I think when I started writing, that's just because I love that. That's what I gravitated to. So yeah, my childhood was great. I have no complaints about my childhood.
So let's talk about like your progression into becoming a professional writer and becoming an agent.
Sure.
So you graduate high school, and then what happens and how, tell us a little bit about the journey to becoming a writer.
So I graduated high school and I went to straight to college, and graduated with a degree in finance and business. So how that translates to becoming a writer is anybody's guess. But I ended up I just loved books, and I always did well in English classes. And if there was a story to be read to the class, she would read mine. So there's that. There's a little bit of hint there, but yeah. And so then I got married, and we had our first child. And my husband traveled a lot with his job, like he was gone all the time, and I had to talk to somebody, so I decided to talk to the voices in my head. Um, I know, it's scary, right?
Now
But
we
I
have a
put them
lot of
on
them, don't
paper.
we?
You like that?
We can all relate.
Yeah.
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 And that translated into writing. So basically, I started writing out of loneliness and making up my own stories while my baby slept. And yeah, and I didn't really start out with publication in mind. I just needed to do something. And I didn't realize there were things you could do, like go to writers groups and writers conferences, and that I didn't know all this. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I ended up finding out through just word of mouth and friends and stuff, that I could do this. And I ended up going to a writers conference, and um, got totally rejected there, but I didn't give up. So
Well,
and
then
just
how did you
I
become an
decided I wanted
agent?
to do this. Yeah. Well,
How did you become an agent?
so that about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So I'm a client of the Steve Lobby agency, who and his my agent is Tamla Hancock Murray, and I've been with her since the beginning. And I just emailed Tamla one day. I was like, hey, I'm getting old. And I was like, I don't know that I want to do this whole thing, writing thing forever and ever and ever. I'm not ready to quit yet, but and I just feel like I need to know, I don't want to get out of the industry, but I need to know what's my next step if I decide not to write as much, or what? And I said, can you just kind of mentor me in this whole agent thing? And so the next thing I knew, Steve calls me and he's like, hey, Tamla told me you want to be an agent. Why don't you just join the agency? And I'm like, so, yeah, what? Wait, what? And so that's kind of how it happened.
That
Wow.
is fantastic. I love it. That's, I mean, why not hit it from both sides? And also gives you another perspective, don't you think, about the industry?
Oh, absolutely. Being on, being the author side of it really, especially responding to somebody with a no, I can do it with kindness and
Right.
without making them feel crushed that, that their agents, the possibility of saying no to their work. And it's not personal. It's totally not personal. It's simply just what you sent me was not going to be a good fit. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean it's no forever. Just try again and we'll talk later, kind of thing. So, yeah, it did prepare me for that. So that's really cool.
Well, how
You
did
know,
your
I tried to,
first book come about?
The
You
first book,
decided to write your first novel. Whatever happened with it?
it's still on a flash drive somewhere, probably a floppy disk. So that first book, I wrote three full manuscripts before I was published, three or four. I think it was
Right.
three, and I ended up being published with Harlequin. Their little love inspired suspense line is their little ones you see on the shelves in Walmart. So what happened with that was I actually wrote. I wanted the longer line. I wanted to go with that, so I wrote a 90,000 word manuscript and submitted it. And they came back to me and they're like, well, we really like you for this other line, but you're going to have to cut 30,000 words out of this manuscript. And I was like, hello, what? And that's what, I mean, if you do the math, it's a
Yeah.
third of the book that I had to get rid of. And I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, forget it. So I stuck it in a drawer.
Those are my
I,
babies.
I know. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, forget
exactly.
it. That's too much work. And so I was teaching at the time. And so the revision stuff request came in October. I was teaching, so I had Christmas break off. I threw the kids at my husband and said, well, he's actually the one that said, you're going to have to do this manuscript. You can't sleep until you do it. Like, well, he's got a point. I was like, well, you have to take care of the kids. So I threw him at him, and he's like, okay. And I disappeared for those 2 weeks, and I did the whole revision thing, cut 30,000 words, resubmitted it, and they called me on February 16th um, to say they wanted to buy it. So that's how the first one came about.
Wow. Wow. What
Yeah.
attracted you to the romantic suspense arena? Did were you reading that beforehand? Is that what?
Yeah, I was all about the Harlequin books. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I especially the intimate moments and the ones that had all of the suspense in them. If it had suspense, danger, dead bodies, I was all about that. So that's just what I loved. I think what I loved the most was that the good guys won in the end. Like that, people got what they deserved.
Yeah.
Like the bad guys got it, and I don't know. I love that. I love that sense of justice. No.
so what's your process? Are you a pantser? Do you outline? How do you go about writing a book?
Well, it's funny because I've been doing this almost 20 years now, and my process has changed dramatically from when I started. In the beginning, I was such a pantser. I just sit down, start writing, and let the story and characters take me wherever, and somehow I made it work. But now I think as my brain has sort of gotten older and atrophied, maybe I don't know. um, it's harder for me to do that. I feel like I need a guide. So I will sit down and do a stream of consciousness, just complete synopsis. This happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And then I don't make myself stick to it like religiously or anything. If I feel like I can write something better as I'm going, then I'll change it up. And so that's how I do now. I do have that little bit of an outline, and I use Scrivener. It's a writing software. It helps me if I
Yeah.
need to move scenes. And you're
Been
probably,
using it for 20 years, the greatest thing
yeah,
ever invented.
the
Yes.
best thing ever.
Yes.
Absolutely. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
And so it helps me kind of keep things straight. I have pictures of my characters, and I love the research feature where you can put the links and access them offline. I mean, it's great. The whole thing is great. So that really helps me keep everything on track and not go down too many little bunny trails.
I love that. So let's talk about, you've got a book coming out in August. You just had one
Yeah,
come out, I believe, January.
I do.
So
Yeah, do it.
let's talk about the book that's coming out in August right now.
So Final Approach is the fourth book in the series. It's the Lake City Heroes series. It's a fictional town set in North Carolina. And that's it. And it is about an air marshal who she and a bunch of her friends who were in all of the books previously are on a flight to Florida, Key West, to go on vacation that they have been dreaming about for several months, up to a year, I think. And the plane gets hijacked.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah. And so they have to turn around and, she has to handle it. There's a couple of FBI agents on the plane. He did not pick a good plane to hijack. But anyway, so, we got members of the SWAT team on here. We've got every kind of law enforcement you can imagine on this plane. So, and
How
yeah,
cool.
so they land the plane. They get in, they land the plane. I mean, they're good at their jobs. These are heroes and heroines. And so they get in, they land the plane safely, and then the FBI starts the investigation into it, and it goes from there. It turns out to be a very personal thing for some of the characters in there. And do you know there have not been any hijackings that I could really have them investigate, not like real hijackings because of the whole, since I don't know, I guess 9/11, I guess. And because just everything is just, the security is so great now. And maybe not perfect, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And I couldn't find anything really to compare this to. So I really had to dig and into research and realize that I had to take the story a certain way because of that. So that turned me into a pantser in that moment.
No doubt, no doubt. And so, tell our viewers where they can find your books and give us a little thumbnail too of the book that was just released this winter.
Yeah, so the book that was just released, well, you can find my books pretty much anywhere on, online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and that kind of stuff. And the book that just released was Syria Burn. That was book 3 in the series, and the main character, as you probably can tell from the cover, is a fire marshal, and she grew up in this town of Lake City, and all of her family was killed in a house fire when she was 7 years old, which spurred her to, once she realized what happened and that it was on purpose and that her family was murdered, it was arson. That's what pretty much was her trajectory into becoming a fire marshal, because the person that did it had never been caught. And so we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of her family's death, and she is determined to find this person, and she does.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Well, Lynette, it
Love the
has
cover
been,
of it too. It's really that's a striking cover.
yeah,
Oh, thank
I
you.
love
They
both of
did a
those
good job.
covers.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're beautiful. But it's
thank you.
been great having you. We've got to have you back. You're a great interview. I mean, obviously your books are fantastic. And I also want to ask our viewers to please click the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithms and gets all the interviews out. And if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe. Then you won't miss any of our interviews. And I'll throw it back to you, Doug.
Yeah, Lynette, thanks so much for being here. It's been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure. Really looking forward to seeing you at Killer Nashville
Oh,
this year.
absolutely.
That'll
We'll
be
have to
that'll be a
meet up
hoot
in the
and a half
bar.
because that's
That'd
such
be
a great
great.
little conference. Yeah. And so we really enjoyed it. We will have you back. Let us know when well, after this book, the next book, and we'll let you know when this is posted. It'll be on our YouTube channel and all the podcast outlets and all that. So you'll be famous.
Oh, yeah.
She already
You
is.
already are famous.
We shall
Uh,
see. I'll hold you to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you
Thank you.
so
That's
much. And
great.
I
Thank
thank
you for doing
everybody for watching us. This has been the Outliers YouTube channel and podcast series. And we'll be back with more interviews and more fun. So until then, keep reading, keep writing, keep having fun, and don't get caught.